Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you about the latest from Mr. Under Attack, out December 18th. This album has 11 tracks, 43 minutes in length, and this is the band's second full-length studio album. These guys are from Finland. They're a thrash groove metal band, and this album is very linear in its approach. I have to start with this because that's the first experience that I felt listening to this record. What you get in the first song is pretty much what you're going to get all the way through. There's not a lot of variety. There are a few songs here and there that change the dynamic, that change the soundscape of the record, but not enough to really make you feel like there's something new coming around the corner. There's a sense of repetitiveness. I'm not saying the songs sound alike, but you at least have a feeling of knowing what's coming around the corner. That's overbearing at times and allows you to kind of just sit back and experience the record, but not really be excited about what the next song is going to bring, because like I said, you have a feeling that you know exactly what's coming next with the following track. Now, once you get into the overall soundscape, the first thing that I notice is that the sound on this record, it has a lot of bass in it. And I don't mean necessarily that the bass guitar is in the forefront of the sound experience. It's just how the album was recorded. There's just a lot of bass in it. Now, it doesn't hurt the overall experience of the album, but it does hurt the guitar sound ever so slightly. And the guitars are the bright spot that this record has to offer. They're chunky, they're heavy, they're groovy, they're dynamic. They offer fluidity, they dictate where the songs go. They're really in the driving seat as far as the overall experience of this album is concerned. And if the overall soundscape wasn't so bass heavy, they would be even more in the forefront. They would be even more predominant. And I think that would have helped the album be more dynamic, more electrifying, more fluid. Now, the vocals are perfect. I really enjoyed what the vocals had to offer to this album. Very steady, very cohesive, very balanced from top to bottom, and then adding some guest musicians here and there changed the dynamics ever so slightly. And that was a nice addition. I really felt that they added something different, they added something new, and some of the songs that really break the mold are the ones that have guest musicians in them, because they added their own flavor, they added their own DNA of the bands that they play in and their own style and their own approach. And I think that was extremely necessary in order for this album to even have some changes from track to track. If it wasn't for the guest musicians, the album would be absolutely flat from beginning to end. So having those guest musicians helped on the musical side, but it also helped on the vocal side. Having said that, like I said, I really enjoyed the vocals. I felt that they were very consistent, very strong, matching the dynamic, matching the structure, matching the overall sound that this album has to offer. Overall, I enjoy the record. This is a good album. It's not a great album, but it's not a bad album. It's just a middle of the road kind of record. I knew the band before, so there was nothing there for me to be surprised about, so I was able to really digest the record, enjoy the album. But this is not necessarily an album that's groundbreaking, that's going to move the needle as far as the band is concerned. If you know the band and you've heard them before, you're going to enjoy the record. If you've never heard the band and you don't know what they're about, this is not going to be an album that's going to necessarily bring you into the fold. So it's a middle of the road kind of record. It's an okay, good album. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with the opening track, The End. Very driven, very groovy, heavy. The guitars really drive the sound, not only of this song, but predominantly of the whole record. But perhaps you feel it in this track because it's the opening one. You feel like they're more present there. The vocals are the perfect partner for that driving sound. They really match well with the intensity that the guitars have. And it gives the overall track a lot of power, a lot of strength. The backing vocals that they use, and they use them throughout the record, add a little bit of grit to how this song comes across. The verses are more driven, the chorus is a little bit heavier and groovier. There's a very slight dynamic change from the verses into the chorus, but very, very slight. It's minimal. You almost can't tell that there's a change, and this allows the song to flow very good from the beginning all the way to the end. Very fluid, very dynamic, almost not stopping at the chorus, even though there's a slight change on how the verses and the chorus are coming together. Next, Masquerade. This is the second song on the record, and it offers a lot of grooviness. This is a more groovier bass type style track. The song still has a lot of heavy elements, is still driven, but the overall grooviness of the sound really permeates and allows this track to be a little bit more impactful. The chorus breaks the song. The backing vocals in that chorus allow the song to have a little bit more volume, to have a little bit more presence. So this is a track that changes from the first song as far as construction is concerned. There's definitely a clear break between verses and chorus, which allows the track to be a little bit more dynamic, to have more of an up and down and not feel as linear. Sound wise, there's a lot of the same elements migrating from the first track into the second track, but the way the song is constructed, is that slight change is enough to give you a different look, to give you a different feel, and not allow these two songs that open up the record to feel very similar, even though they have a lot of similarities between them, and allow this beginning of the album to be very strong, very heavy, very driven, really pushing you forward as far as the listening experience is concerned. Last but not least, Joker. This is my favorite track on the album. I love how it sounds. I love the industrial style approach and some of the vocals that they use on this track. Very dynamic track musically and vocally. There's a lot to digest when you listen to this song. I like the fact that the track feels like it's coming at you in waves. It's not necessarily linear in its approach or in its soundscape. It really comes at you and comes and goes and comes and goes, and that allows the track to be very dynamic from a soundscape perspective. And then when you have different styles of vocals, different approaches, if you will, makes it very dynamic from that vocal perspective as well. But the way they merged these two worlds together was absolutely genius. The song really works. It works from beginning all the way to the end. You don't feel like the track is broken. You don't feel like there's one element that doesn't belong there, even though there's different elements coming together like industrial groove and thrash metal, and not always an easy thing to merge them into one single track and make them all work in order for this track to have the livelihood that it needs to have. But on this song it worked perfectly from top to bottom, and because of the dynamic fragrances that it has as far as the sound and vocals are concerned, makes this one of the outstanding tracks of the album and my favorite song on this record. This is it. This is Mr. Under Attack, out December 18th. Let me know your thoughts on the band. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.